Nandini, can you connect and can you share the screen?
Sure, ma'am.
Sriram, Sriram,
Yes.
are you? Yeah, Sriram. Can we talk around 10:30 EST or will it be too late?
It will be, I mean, after the class, right?
Pardon?
After the class, right?
Not, no, not exactly after the class. After the class, I have to take one more class.
Okay. Yeah.
Another 40
Please ping me
minutes.
on WhatsApp. It should be fine, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I will ping you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay. If not, tomorrow morning we'll talk.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. So last class we discussed with the DBG, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So, which DBG? Other history?
Base DBG.
Other action taken, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we created the DBG. Okay. Actually, we started CRF design. We started CRF design. So that CRF design consists of different steps, questions, question groups, and all. So for a question, if you have drop down list, possible values. The questions, if you have drop down list, possible values, then we'll create the DVG, discrete value groups. Okay. So let's see. We'll go to questions today because we have completed all the steps of the DVG. We created DVG, we added values to the DVG, and we created subset, and we also changed the status to active. So now what we do, we'll create the question. Okay. So the fifth step is assigning the DVG to questions. While creating question itself, we can do that. So we'll go to questions. Questions also we create in glib only. So go to questions. In that, the first one that you can open questions. The question name, other action. Here, the question name is not going to be displayed on the screen, data entry screen. So generally, the question name is for the internal purpose. When you get the discrepancy, then the question name will be displayed. But this is not going to be printed when you are entering data. Okay. So question name, other underscore action. So whatever you give, it doesn't matter the question name. Finally, it is going to be printed there with the intent, whatever you write in intent. Okay, domain will be standard domain. Status default provisional. Medical evaluation type you can select from the drop down. Default should be provisional only. Okay, by default, when you are creating any record, it should be provisional. Later, we'll change it to active when you are assigning. This is AE related, right? Adverse event related. Okay. So intent, now you write the intent. What kind of question that you want to answer? What is the exact question? You see, is the patient pregnant? Is the patient pregnant? Is not question name. Question name is just pregnant. The correct question format that we write here in the intent. Intent is nothing but an ambiguous statement of your question. Okay. Intent you can write. Other action taken in response to adverse effect. If you want to write, you can even write other action taken in response to adverse event. Otherwise, other action taken, that is enough. Okay. Next. Question type from the drop down. It's not the unit that you're creating. It's not the lab test that you're creating. It's not the date and time. Let's say if you're creating birth date, start date, end date, those questions should be selected as. Those questions should be selected as date and time. So this is not non-lab. This can be the non-lab and character. It will not be the complex test validated question set. These three are the coding related. We can ignore them, like complex test validated question set. So, in case if you are creating the unit, let's say height is there, centimeters, like inches, centimeters. If you want to get the drop down list for the inches, centimeters, then you create the same as unit. if it is any lab test, okay, so we can select lab test. If it is date or any time, we can select date and time. If you select date and time, further it will ask you whether it is date or time. Okay, so you have non-lab. Now this question is non-lab or character. Anything will be fine. But if you only thing is if you select non-lab here, in the next field you need to select it as character because when you are adding DVG, the question should be always character. Okay, you can select any of these things, non-lab or character. Okay, so next go to next field. It will be automatically selected character. Next field, date, time, type. Date, time, type, date, time format. So these two applicable in case if you select the question type, date and time. Otherwise, these two are not applicable. Next, you have length. If it is date, then it will allow you to enter date and time format, date and time, time. Length, do you remember which length that we have given there? 20 or 30? You can use any length here.
340.
40. So decimal place, it will not ask you to select the decimal place here. Why? Because it is character. For character values, we will not have any decimals. The decimal will be null. It will not even let you to enter. But if it is character, if it is numeric, you have to enter decimal. Even though if you don't have any decimal also, at least you have to mention zero. At least zero should be mentioned. Okay. So then SAS name. Only for the character we collect the decimal. The class name should be the so SAS name should be, let's say, ACN OTH or OTH ACN. Right. That means just indicating other action. It should be it should be short. SAS name should be short, up to only 8 characters, not more than that one. As it is 8 short, it will not accept more than 8. Okay, then we are adding the label here. Elaborate the SAS name. What is the SAS name first before we go further? So, will the data going to be extracted from CDM database to external files? So, after management after cleaning the data, after validating the data. So from CDM, your data should be extracted to SAS datasets because further it needs to be analyzed. Okay, so your data will be directly extracted into SAS files, SAS format. So SAS file is collection of rows and columns. So we are creating the row of the essays with this name. That means when the data is extracted, the SAS variable name, whatever it is created, it will be with the SAS name. Now that means for this question, it will create with OTH ACM. Okay. Extract macro not required. As label default, it will take from the intent. Extract macro not required because it's a short code macro to retrieve the variables. Question set name also it will not ask because data type we didn't choose a question set. Go to safety. In case if it is a safety question, check this. Safety question. Is it derived? It's not derived, right? Generally, when you are entering the responses, we have two types of questions, two types of responses. Enterable, derivable. Enterable and derived. So derived is nothing but we write the algorithm to derive the values. Let's say age. Let's say age. Age to be derived from the date of birth. How do we write the algorithm? Current date or most of the times we take treatment date. It's called reference date. Okay, so the date on which patient started using the first dose of the medication. So we take the drug start date minus birth date. Okay, into 365.25. So this is the algorithm to derive the age. So age is derivable. If you select the derived, when you are entering the data, it will not let you to enter the data. When you select derived, it will not let you to enter the data. Okay, it has to be from the derivation procedures. You have to create them with the algorithms and you have to run them. Then only the value will be calculated. If it is enterable, it will allow you to enter the value. But if it is derived, it will not allow you to enter the particular keyword, particular value. Okay. So it's not derived, right? Is it derived?
No,
Other
no.
action can't be derived. Right. So no need to check that one. If you check that in the data entry, it will not let you to select the value, not let you to enter the value. Only for the derivation questions, we choose that one. If you select derived here, you have to write the derivation algorithm, derivation procedure. Okay, that can be in the definitions. Okay, so DVG modifier. DVG modifier. So as we have created already DVG, you can select that.
Right. Going back to the SAS name, did you say that the SAS name will be the variable in the SAS program?
SAS table. The entire data, whatever that you are entering here, that will be extracted into SAS form, SAS table format. SAS table is nothing but it's a collection of rows and columns. The data that you enter will be in rows, and the questions that you are creating here is in columns. The column name that we defined just now. So now this is closed-ended question, isn't it? So select DVG modifiable. As it is closed-ended, we have to assign the DVG here, whatever we created. Whatever the DVG we created, we assign here. So simple. With the DVG, it is closed-ended. Without DVG, it is open-ended. You're assigning DVG here, that itself closed-ended. If you're not assigning, we are leaving this DVG blank. It is open-ended. Okay, select the DVG from the drop-down. Why we are selecting DVG modifiable here? Even after the changing the status to active also. Let's say after creation of this question, we need to change it to active. But even after changing the status to active also, if you want to modify the DVG, if you want to change the DVG, you can change it. That's the reason we are enabling it, DVG modifiable. Then select the DVG name from the drop-down. We have drop-down there. If you select the DVG name, till DVG subset, all will get auto-selected. Can you search? Other. Two we have, subsets 1 and 2. We have action taken, we have 2, 1, 2. Collection of values for other action responses to. Okay, phase 1 you can select. I think that is a full, we have all the values. That's when you can select. Right, till DVG subset automatically selected. What is alpha DVG then?
Null values.
Alpha is for null values. Generally, for each question, we will not create any alpha. We have group of a few alpha DVGs for the null values. Let's say not done, no information, not available. Okay, for such kind of values, we use alpha. That means along with the internal values. If you want to add alpha, let's say we already have 4 values in the other action. None, pharmacological remedial therapy, non-pharmacological remedial therapy, and hospitalization. In addition to these 4, if you want to add any extra alpha values, you can add here alpha DVG. Usually for each question, no need to create alpha DVG. So generally, we have group of values within each alpha DVG. You'll have 4 to 5 alpha DVGs. So whichever the appropriate one, we can easily assign that. From the drop down, we can choose appropriate one that you can assign. Okay. If you select DVG alpha DVG modifiable, it will show you in the drop down whatever all available alpha DVGs. Generally, alpha DVGs will not be the question specific. In general, values will be collected here. See, alpha underscore employee, alpha underscore employee, I colored. Generally, these will not be with the question names. You can cancel here. No need to assign alpha DVG. So if you select alpha DVG, till alpha DVG subset, it will get selected. So lower bound, upper bound. Lower, upper. What is lower and upper? Range. So can we decide the lower and upper for this one?
We can set it for lab values.
We can set it for lab values, but not this one because it is character. If you try to enter also, it will not let you to enter. It will show you field is protected against update. Okay. So we can skip lower and upper. Lab value we can assign. Age we can assign. Upper and lower ranges. Validation failure type. So generally, when you are performing the discrepancy management, when you are handling the discrepancies. So our main role is discrepancy management. These are all that we are doing in the startup. Conduct is the main daily activity. If you receive one study, startup will be done only once. Once you configure all these things and test them and move to production mode, conduct will be the repeated process. That's the reason in the overall process, startup will take only 15%. Though we have lot of steps here, but only 15%. 60% will be conduct. So next, right. So when they are handling the discrepancies, okay. So which one to handle first? So this will be based on the priority. This will be based on the priority. That priority that you can configure here, that means this field related, if you get any query, any discrepancy, how to handle the discrepancy. That means the priority for the discrepancy we are creating, we are selecting in the validation failure type. You can select from the drop down. Nandini, you see, explore the drop down. Verify, normal, critical, monitor alert, safety. So the other two are related to coding. Okay, verify, normal, critical, monitor alert. So based on these status, we'll process the adversaries. Sorry, discrepancies. Okay. So you can assign. If the question is important, anything discrepancy related to this question, if you want to prioritize, select critical or monitor alert, verify. In case of any safety related, you can even select safety related. Okay. So in case if you get any discrepancy related to this particular question, it will be in the discrepancy database. In the discrepancy database, okay, so the discrepancy will be appeared with the status, whatever you assign. Next, uppercase, it will force you to enter the value in uppercases. It will force you to enter the values in uppercases. Pass to site verify. If it is not that important to check, cross-check in the second pass. Second pass is cross-checking, first quality check. Okay. So let's say some questions are not that important. No need to check in the pass two verification. Okay. So for those questions, you can select pass to site verify. What happens if you select pass to site verify? Whatever the data that you entered in first pass, that will get auto reflected in the second pass without entering. Let's say I chose non-pharmacologic remedial in the first pass. You are the second person. When you open the data entry screen, non-pharmacologic remedial will be appear on the screen. It will get selected in the screen. Okay. So you can decide whether to select pass to site verify or not. If you check whatever the value that is entered in first pass, it will get auto-filled in the second pass. Right. Default prompt is like text, help text. You can go to next. Status comment. Status comment, why it isn't provisional, why it isn't active, why you are changing it to active. In case if you are changing the status to retired, retirement reason type also that we have. You can save this window. Save this and do one thing, change it to active. Before active, you just need to cross check once. Save. Sorry, single. You already saved it, I think, single. So in the single window, check all the fields once again and change the status to active. Just cross check.
What is the categories?
Did you ask anything?
Yes, what is the categories?
Category, question categories. So you have drop down there, question categories. We'll see that later.
Okay.
Did you change it to active?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, you can go to multi-record view. Right. Exit. Change the format key is not available. Okay. Mm. No, Shweta. Every field will not have drop down. Only few fields will have the drop down. Predefined drop down will be there. Change it to active, Nandini.
Yes, I changed to active.
Sorry, change it to provisional. Change it back to provisional
Okay.
and save. Even it is not allowing, exit. No. Again, open questions, browse for your question and see whether it is changed to active or not. Go to query, enter query. No, 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 no. Go to query, enter query, then execute query.
Okay.
Other percentage execute query. Second one. No, no, no need to go to single. Keep it in multi only. For review purpose, I asked you to open in single.
Okay.
Now, when you go to single, you can easily click on multi to get back to the window. No need to exit.
Sure.
Change status to active. Before we assign to next step, we change it to active. I'm going to assign to question groups now. Save.
Without changing to active, can we not assign the questions?
Can you repeat, Devi?
Without changing it to active, can
We
we not
can.
assign the questions?
We can. We can.
Okay.
We can, but the problem is to DCMs. When you are changing the status of the DCM, there it will show you error corresponding questions not active.
Okay.
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 I have a question, Chandrakala.
Yeah,
So
please.
before she changed the status to active, right? A.
Mhm.
But in yesterday's class, you told me that in when it is active and the status is active, you cannot edit or modify.
Mhm.
So how come it got edited to P again?
Actually, it's not letting her to save. It's not saved. It was showing error.
Oh,
Once
okay.
you
I
check
did
the
not find the error on the screen. I did not see it.
actually in the single window, it is saying this is not the window to change.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
reason I asked her to change it to be. Now you see she didn't save. Okay, you saved Nandini,
Yes, ma'am.
this one.
Yes.
You do one thing. Other relevant history also. Change it to active. Other relevant history also. Change it to active. Let's see. She is not saving. Do not save Nandini. She
Yes.
is not saving. Now she can go back to provisional. You can go back to provisional. Do not save. Go back to provisional. Right. See.
So as long as it's not saved, you can modify.
Right. Right. If it is saved, then only active will be applied.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. So now we'll go to question groups. We'll create question groups. Expand the question groups. Question groups, we have three steps. First, you need to name and define the question group. And we add all the logically related questions to question group, change it to active. So the first one, naming and defining the question group, adding all the related questions to question group, changing the status to active. This is simple one. Okay, so this is simple. Right. You can go to question groups. We already have a lot of question groups with the same name, AdWords event. We are going to now create AdWords effect, but do not use the same name AdWords effect, AE underscore 2. Because AE already there, we are going to use the same existing one only. This we create, again we'll delete. We'll just see how to create. Right. The standard QG type from the drop down description, that's all. Now let it be expandable, because even after changing the status to active also, if you want, you can add the questions. So let it be expandable. QG type from the drop down. AdWords events only. Category AdWords effect. Description, right? Collection of AE questions or just AE questions. Status comment not required. These are all not required. You can just save it. And there is a navigation button. You see, there is a navigation button. Question group questions. Click there. You can add all the AdWords event related questions. Just add 2 to 3, remaining all also repetitive. Let's say AdWords event end date, error relatedness, AdWords event relatedness. We have a lot of, if you can just see the drop down. Yeah, relatedness. Say okay. So just next field, you add another question. Let's just go on adding those questions. In the next field, you can write start date, severity is there, action taken with the uh, study drug. You can add like that, okay, but no need to add all of them, okay. So you can just save this one, okay, and you can go back. We are not going to change this to active. So you can back, delete this one. I just want to show you how to create. You can delete this one. So you just name and define and add all the related questions to question group. Okay. Now, go to query, execute query. So, yes, because previously we deleted, but we didn't save the window. After deletion also, you must save the window. You can see now, AdWords event is already there, which is selected expand. In case if you want to add further questions also, we can add it here. Select AE, it's already selected. Go to question group questions. Clear, right? So these are all the question group questions. So we have all questions related to AdWords event. In case if you want to add any new one also, we can add. Though the AdWords event is active status. You can see, you can go back. See the status showing active, right? Status showing active for the AdWords event. So when you go to question group questions, we can add more questions if you want because we selected expand. But we cannot delete any existing one. Can you go to question group questions and delete something? Try to delete something. So you cannot delete the question group while DCM questions existed is showing. We already assigned this to DCM questions. Okay, say okay. Clear, right? You can go back. So I'm not adding the other action taken now. If you want, you can add it here, but I don't want to add it in the lib. Okay, tomorrow we'll create the DCM to our study influenza and we'll add there. Our study influenza will create the DCM. We'll add this question group, AE question group to DCM. There we add the other action. Whatever the question that we created, there we add. So when you are practicing, please do not use existing questions or existing question groups. Whatever you create in the glib, you must carefully look for it. If the question is already there, if the question group is already there, do not create. For practice purpose, if you want to create, you can create, but do not change it to active. You delete. If it is a new one, you can create. If it is already existing one, please look at the existing one and you can directly use that one. Okay. So I'm going to close the session for today.
Thank you, ma'am.
So see you tomorrow. I'll start the resume tomorrow.
Hi, ma'am.
Devi,
Yeah,
can
from
you ping me?
yeah, sure.
Can you ping me? Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You can practice, Devi. You can connect. I'll give you access.
Okay, not now, ma'am. Actually, I have a question from yesterday's class, so
Okay. You can WhatsApp me. No problem.
yeah, sure. Okay.